Hey family, it's Connor and welcome back to my channel. Two things before we begin. Yes, the bump is big. This is week 30. We're at 30 weeks, so we have like 2 months left in this journey of ours. And that's one. And two, if you happen to see a beautiful red mark on my face, please don't mind it. My toddler got to me. So family, as it is February, denoting that it's Black History Month, today we're going to talk about the history of Black veganism. So we're going to start this little chit chat by saying that white vegans did not invent cruelty-free living. And we're going to go into that into a bit of detail. I already have a rant video on this channel, and I will link it down below so you guys can check it out. But since the larger emergence of Black Lives Matter in mainstream media and different other organizations of Black people finding their voice and becoming louder in the lifestyles that they live that's not necessarily Black, to some people pushing that limit of what Black looks like in the workplace or in recreation, in relationships, things of that nature, I thought that video would need a little revamping, a little freshening up. So here we are. And we're gonna start with that these ideologies and traditions of cruelty-free living have flourished in different societies and different cultures and in communities of color for centuries prior to our knowledge of what mainstream veganism looks like as it is structured today. There are Eastern religions like Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism that all advocate eschewing animal products and animals for many different reasons and in many different formats, but mainly because of their belief systems centered around non-violence. Specifically, like if you do yoga, you've heard of ahimsa, and that is non-violence. So when it comes to ahimsa in general, a lot of people tend to automatically think about food, what is not necessarily like the easiest, but the most like, what comes to mind first when it comes to non-violence, and it's like not hurting, not hurting, not killing, whether it be for food or for what have you. That's just for definition purposes. So then we move to the Black diaspora experience, and we're going to focus on that experience in North America, mainly the United States of America, where we have slave food translating into soul food, which is something that connects to Black people's identity. And it's something that is so strong that Black people don't even want to deal with the ridicule of stepping away from that identity. Even if you say you're vegetarian, you can still turn up on deviled eggs, macaroni and cheese, things like that. But once you take out all animal products altogether, you have magically lost your Black card. We don't know what's wrong with you, or you're trying to be white, this, that, and the other. It's a whole bunch. So what I want to convey in this talk, what I want you guys to get out of this, is that we get to express our values through food, and that's for everyone across the board. So let's think about what your meals say about you. And are you an unconscious eater? Are you ignoring the signs that your body is giving you just because you want to base it off of your identity and your culture and what your culture says you should eat because grandma has made it forever and she lived till 90 and she's fine? And there's a myriad of other things. But ignoring the signs your body gives you when you stuff yourself with overprocessed meat, when you're guzzling down cheese and ice cream, and you know you're gonna feel bad, and then There's people who make jokes like, oh, I'm gonna have a bubble guts later, or this is not gonna end well for me, but this smacks right now. That is the problem with cultural food identities that are so strong and set in Black people's psyche. So we look at modern veganism as most people think of it today, and that didn't emerge until like 1944 with a British woodworker named Donald Watson. And Watson is seen by many as the father of modern veganism. He went on to found the Vegan Society, which solidified veganism's place as a lifestyle choice in mainstream culture. He was the one, this Watson fellow, he was the one who coined the term vegan, and it was to differentiate from vegetarians who did not consume meat, but they still consumed animal products, and those vegetarians who did not consume animal products for food or clothing or anything in general. The definition of veganism, though, as he put it, you can totally Google it and check it out, because it's just reducing as much as you can. Veganism is not necessarily a religion, it is a philosophy of life. So but here, looking at the Black diaspora experience in the United States of America, we see food deserts coming into play in modern society, right? So many people of color are also now heavily dependent on sources of food that are available to them within these food deserts, and that is cheap cuts of meat and dairy products. Now, cheap cuts of meat and dairy products came into our diet from colonialization, and I know. So then the food desert comes into play. Many people of color are now heavily dependent upon cheap cuts of meat and dairy products due to European colonialism. That's when these products came into our diet, mainly from slavery, when offal, which is organs and like scraps of what master didn't want, was given to us, and then we ate it. We made it good, but it was still trash. You know what I mean? It was still something that someone had discarded, even to the point of where we ignored the fact that 75% of Black people are lactose intolerant when it comes to dairy, right? We can't digest the same things that they can digest. But when it became a point of survival, it became something important and something that we had to push to the side. But we are now in a new time. We are in a time when we can just let that go and do what we need to do for us. If you look at the diets of West Africans, a lot of dairy actually comes from goats. So if you don't want to be vegan, even though this is a vegan conversation, I mean, I know not everyone's going to be vegan. I would love for everyone to just reduce as much as possible. But yeah, try goat's milk. Try a goat-based formula for your babies if you have a formula-fed child, you know, and you really believe that dairy is a product that should be consumed. That's just what is in our DNA. So now, like, lactose intolerance has become the norm. Like I said earlier, you make jokes and things around it. There's Lactate, there's all these pills and things that you take before you eat, like ice cream and cheese, and then it just makes it okay when you could just not eat it. But in a sense, especially for the Black psyche, you don't want to seem like something is wrong with you, because someone already sees that something is wrong with you because you are Black and you exist. So something else like, oh, now they don't drink milk, now they don't eat cheese, can just push it over the edge for you and just make life just a little bit more difficult, and we don't need that. So solving food inequality in communities of color with this emergence of food deserts is the main example that we're bringing to the table here, is a crucial step towards spreading holistic, whole foods veganism, not just like fast food veganism. Oh, there's a Burger King down the street from me and they have Impossible Whopper now. I'll do all the modifications that I need to do, get some fries, get a sweet tea. Now I'm vegan, now I'm good. No. People should be able to eat according to their morals and their ethics and what they want, like just their desires, because it's valid and important. They should be able to eat healthy and have access to fresh fruits and vegetables, frozen, canned fruits and vegetables that don't have additives. You know, canned vegetables that don't have a lot of salt or chemicals. It's literally just a canned vegetable and maybe water. Something of that nature. Canned fruits that aren't in syrup necessarily. Maybe they're in their own juice. Things like that. And organic. They should be able to have access, to have choice. It's a grave injustice that's taking place in these communities that don't have the same access to like healthy food options that other communities do on an everyday basis. And this is what we talk about, where it's even spread to the psyche of the people who are in these food deserts, who identify with this food culture. They're not even realizing that these foods did not necessarily exist for their ancestry. This is a big example, like in vegan Mexican cuisine. You look at the indigenous foods of Mexico, it's not all pork and beef and chicken smothered in cheese and cream sauces. Just like other indigenous cuisines, many cultures focused on beans, squashes, starches, wild greens, nuts, and seeds as their main sources of sustenance. We can look at the Black Hebrew Israelite community, for example, which was established in the late 19th century, and they encouraged their followers to adhere to a strict vegan diet because they believed it was the secret to eternal life. A cleansing of the inside just brought you that much closer to eternal life. And I think most of us know about the Ital diet that comes from the Rastafarians in Jamaica. This religion of Rastafarianism was developed in the 1930s and is believed to have evolved from Hinduism when the traditions were brought over with indentured Indian servants to the islands. A chief goal of the Ital diet is to enhance vitality, which is the root of the name. Vital Ital. Okay. So when we fast forward to modern society, right? We're in 2021 and we see celebrities and people in the spotlight in general, such as Venus Williams, Erykah Badu, Cory Booker, Colin Kaepernick, Beyonce, who all boast about the benefits of a plant-based diet, whether they're strictly vegan or whether they eat this way off and on. They all say that there is a benefit to this diet in their lives and for their livelihoods, what they do, especially if they're like athletes that's all I have to say. So with that being said, family, remember what this channel is about. It's about reducing the ego, which is you and I as individuals, and embracing the eco, which includes all of us with all of our differences, but also fauna, flora, and the planet that we live on in general. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, press the like thumbs it up, help me out with the algorithm here, and also share with family and friends. Start a discussion, leave a comment, questions, concerns down in the description box down below. If it's the same as the last video that I made about this topic, I kind of already know what to expect, but hopefully we have a little bit more elevation to the conversation when it comes to education and also solutions. I would love to go through them and to see that. All right, you guys, happy Black History Month. I will be back with more Black history and plant-based content in this month, so stay tuned for that. And love and light.